Piers Morgan wrote this opinion piece a few days ago about the real-life baby reindeer Martha. However, did he actually call her an unstable, obsessive, threatening stalker? Yes, he did, but with an asterisk. Let me explain. Hey up everyone, it's me, Steph, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, looking after Popcorn Planet whilst Andy's away at the moment. And yeah, I saw this article and I read it and I thought, this was extremely interesting from Piers Morgan. Now, he wrote this article after the interview with the real-life Martha actually aired. And yeah, he was like, look, my interview with her, I had alarm bells, but she might also be a victim in all of this as well. So he goes in to explain the Netflix show, first and foremost, becoming a sensation, how the real Martha has come forward, claiming that Gadd's version of the story is completely untrue, quoting part of his interview where she says, quote, "It's very, very defamatory to me, very career damaging, and I want to rebut that completely on this show, I'm not a stalker, I've not been to jail, I've not got injunctions, and this is complete nonsense. I find it quite obscene, I find it horrifying and misogynistic." Now, Piers Morgan, this is true. He's interviewed a lot of dangerous people in the past, okay, for a TV program series that he has released, from serial killers to psychopaths. He says that the common thread through all of them is that they are very skilled liars, often because their warped minds make them believe that what they're saying is true, even though in reality, it really, really isn't true whatsoever. Now, he does point out, look, Fiona Harvey, the real-life Martha here, hasn't unalived anyone. But if she did all the things that Baby Reindeer is alleging that she did, then he says, quote, "She's certainly a very unstable, obsessive and threatening stalker who made Richard Gadd's life utter hell." But the lives of the other people she's accused of harassing too, yes, if that's true, then she also made their lives an utter hell as well. But he asks a really good question here. Is Baby Reindeer true? Is it all true, right? Because Netflix does say that this is a true story without stuttering, okay? But, you know, don't be under any illusion here. We've got Benjamin King, who's Netflix Senior Director of Public Policy in the UK, telling UK Parliament Committee this week that Baby Reindeer is an extraordinary story, and it's obviously a true story of the horrific nastiness that the writer and protagonist Richard Gadd suffered at the hands of a convicted stalker. Yet, the real-life Martha's turning around and saying she's never been convicted of stalking Gadd, let alone admit it in court, as the show says. And no journalists have yet found any evidence that she's ever been charged or convicted of any crime, let alone stalking, right? Now, you know, Piers Morgan turns around and says, look, she might be lying. Okay? But it's not a difficult thing to check in terms of her, if she does have a criminal record or not. And if it turns out that she's never been convicted of stalking Gadd or anyone else, then that absolutely blows Baby Reindeer's credibility out of the water. And if that's not true, then what else in Baby Reindeer isn't true either in that scenario, right? And it would call into serious question then just how much of Richard Gadd's version of events can actually be believed. Now, Netflix claim on their side they did everything possible to ensure that the real-life people behind the characters were not going to be identified. But the actress who plays Martha is absolutely physically pretty much her twin, really, at this point, right? And especially in the way that she spoke in the series. As a result of all the clues that essentially Baby Reindeer gave, yeah, it took internet sleuths, he says, 10 nanoseconds to identify the real-life Martha. Now, I would actually kind of correct Piers Morgan on that. It wasn't 10 nanoseconds, it was 2. 2 nanoseconds to identify the real-life Martha. But once she was identified, she was bombarded then at that point with very, very, very nasty messages. Now, all of which points to, and I agree with Pierce on this, a spectacular duty of care failure by Netflix. And I definitely agree with that. And he says, look, this could actually carry serious legal jeopardy for all the creators involved, Netflix and Richard Gadd as well. Now, he says, of course, none of this means that, the real life Martha actually told Piers Morgan the truth during this interview. He says he found her to be intelligent, quick thinking, and combative. And on a human level, I felt sorry for her that she'd been publicly dragged through the meat grinder like this. He says her general behaviour on and off camera with me and my team didn't give us any cause for concern about either potential danger or her mental state. But, stalkers, he says, can hide their real personalities or obsessive intent. And, since he wrote this article, we've reported it on this channel here that, real life Martha's turning around to Piers now and says, pay me $1 million. Yeah, I think the crazy's coming out now, and I think Piers Morgan might actually be seeing that. He does say, though, there were moments in the interview where his alarm bells were ringing, especially when she suddenly said, even if the email was true, the rest is not. Very, very curious thing to say, right, guys? Now, the email thing, they're referencing the 41,000 emails that apparently she sent, allegedly, to Gadd. And even if that bit is true, then it does show that she was obsessively pursuing contact with him. He also found it strange that she admitted to having 6 email addresses and 4 mobile phones, which she says she used for different people. And, everyone that, watched that interview and she said that, even I was like scratching my head thinking, why do you need 4 mobile phones? Why do you need 6 email addresses? That, under normal circumstances, ain't normal. It's not normal whatsoever. And, even Piers Morgan says, that's not normal. Holy shiz, Sherlock, it's not. She also made a series of emphatic blanket denials about how long she knew Gadd and how much contact she had with him that are provably false. I mean, this is a thing, right? She says that she only sent him 1 letter when he says she sent 105. But then she turns around and says she doesn't know where he lives, yet admits she only sent him 1 letter. Well, if she doesn't know where he lives, how did she send the letter in the first place? You see, there was a lot of contradictions and a lot of opinion conspiracy theory, whatever, lies that the real life Martha said in this interview with Piers Morgan that we also went through on this channel. So do check that out. On balance, Piers Morgan says, I'd say that she lied to me quite a lot in the interview. And if a threatened legal action against Netflix and Gadd goes ahead, I suspect it will quickly emerge that she did send all the emails, messages and letters to him. But that doesn't mean that she can't be a victim here too. And Piers Morgan is correct, because earlier on he discussed the notion that, look, Netflix, to their detriment, failed in their duty of care. Because with what they put out in Baby Reindeer, it allowed the internet in 2 nanoseconds to identify who the real life Martha is. It shouldn't have been that easy. It should not have been that easy whatsoever. So in that respect, with Netflix failing in their duty of care for the real life people behind Baby Reindeer, real life Martha, let's be real here, is a victim as well, because Netflix failed in their duty of care to protect her real life identity as far as I'm concerned, okay? That might not be what a lot of you want to hear, but I'm going to call it as it is. Now, Richard Gadd, by his own admission, is a very damaged guy, took a lot of illicit substances, pursued enthusiastically a very, very active, lurid, intimate, physical life, and did lead the real life Martha on in a way that may have fueled her obsession. He's also been accused of proposition trans actresses whom he was lining up for work. And I agree with this. Frankly, it's all a mess. Absolutely. Pandora's box is open and it's an absolute awful mess. But he concludes saying, look, if Richard Gadd feels entitled to make millions airing his side of the story and make very serious allegations about Harvey in the process, then she is surely entitled to respond and defend herself. Agreed with that. As for who is exploiting whom, I'll leave that to the court of public opinion to decide. So this is the thing, right? And this is the question I'm going to ask you guys now. Who is actually exploiting who? Is it Richard Gadd that's exploiting the real life Martha? Or is it the other way around? Or is it the both of them that are just exploiting each other at this point? And do you guys believe that the real life Martha is an unstable, obsessive and threatening stalker? Or do you believe that Baby Reindeer could actually be bending the truth, maybe lying about at least some of what they're alleging in the series? What do you guys think? With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, believe me, of course there's going to be more. And make sure you subscribe to Popcorn Planet, ring that notification bell to all, like this video, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, and whatevers. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Really appreciate all your faces. And here are some videos on screen right now that you may want to clickety-click, clickety-click.